The art of telling a good story is somehow forgotten these days. Most rappers choose to rap from their perspectives only, because that way they're able to establish their individualism and give the world their way of looking at things. However, being able to tell stories, describe places and situations is a valuable skill to have. Rappers such as Eminem and Immortal Technique know the power of telling a great story, man. Storytelling in a song format is something which shows the overall skill level of an MC. It shows everything, and by the quality of the song, you can see how intelligent and skillful a rapper really is. Let's get to it. How to describe the principles. Well, it depends on what are you trying to describe and who is describing. When describing, you have to have a vast imagination, being able to picture the whole place in your head. First things first, camera angles. Think of it as a movie with separate camera angles. You have to change the point of view all the time. For example, if a guy wants to go and beat up another guy, you have to be able to constantly switch camera angles. First, go inside the first person, then right as an observer, then go inside the head of the other guy, and so on, man. So the first rule is to think of it as a movie and always change the camera angles. The second rule, the five senses. Maybe you've heard this before, I'd be surprised if you haven't. The second thing you can use as a guide is the five senses: smell, touch, eyesight, sound, taste. And if you're a Spider-Man, Spider-Manian, I don't know what that, okay, whatever. The best way to use those five senses is in adjectives, using them as detail to your story. It helps the listener go deeper and fires up his imagination. It helps him picture it, man. Also, what I do is combine two more senses in one sentence. So not only I say the walls are white, okay, so you know there's one sense there, but I try to squeeze in as many senses as possible. So something like, I stare at the rugged cracks of the white wall while strangers around me were chatting some nonsense. Okay, so you have chatting, that's sound. You have rugged, that's touch. White, come on, man. We can do this right. Okay, the third thing is feelings. Last but not least, when you're going inside people's heads, you have to include the inside to the five senses. So not only you're talking about the touch, smell, taste, etc., but you're talking about the feelings too. How does the pen feel in your hand? What happens on the inside is what you want to include. His beliefs, imagination, emotions, the inside, man. For example, I will write a short piece describing a situation guided by those three principles so you can see vaguely how it all works. Okay, it's in a text form, not rhyme form, so don't judge. It was a rundown restaurant and I was sitting on one of the tables. The table was so old I was waiting for it to break. It reminded me of the table in my old apartment. I used to do so much cocaine on it, man, its smooth surface was perfect for that. Suddenly, I heard my name and snapped back to reality in an instant. It was the waiter giving me the menu, man. He leaned towards me and gently slid the menu on the table. He had that greasy hair and a really strong cologne. That disgusted me as it reminded me of my history teacher. Damn, that dude was fat and ugly, man. Hope he's dead. The restaurant was empty and quiet. There was nobody there except a blonde girl dressed in a short white skirt, sitting on a table in the corner, looking at me with her big brown eyes. I noticed her but didn't have the time to go up and talk to her. I wasn't ready, and it's not what I was there for. Then I saw him. He came in with his crew. It was about to go down. Okay, the bottom line is, you see how I try to combine all the senses in one plus the inside feelings of the actor? I did it in first person, but you could do it from a neutral observer's point of view, going in and out of people's heads. It's really cool. So remember the three principles to describing something: five senses, feelings, and the movie angles. Tell me, man, how do you describe your own stories? Do you use any of those methods? Share them with me.